never-ending list of say-nothings.
To compare dinner napkins and baptisms. Full cavity report of the clock switching positions, fidgeting with his hands, grinding his teeth at each overtly obvious street sign. An omen sits beneath the falling piano, peeling an apple, cursing meaning. All these moments go bald, fall off the pages, all these breaths exhale eventually. One day the earth will be empty with the fumes of last breaths and final sighs, like sealing a Ziploc bag full of leftover words.
He used to pick on her about her deflated lung. Love made her short of breath, her tongue dizzy. Your sense of self can elude you from time to time, leaving whom in between to pretend comfortable in fresh wounds on presents covered in wrapping paper and dictionary blood. Cleaning the past from my fingernails like hearing continuity hiccup, which I don't think can have an echo even in a canyon. Or maybe the continuity which follows is just the extended echo, ringing out infinitely of thousands of minor glitches and sudden odular preceding it. The sun repeats on the moon all night, burping hours eaten earlier, like a 3 o'clock breeze through a midnight window. The goosebumps you wore to sleep last night were made in some serotonin sweatshop. Believe it or not, rocks came off an assembly line the same way nothing can outgrow its world. A lady walks by outside with her mother's 50-year-old goodbye wave tucked under her arm, ready to prove time doesn't exist for the 5th time today. This time to a man with a big handshake and small talk who stops her each morning to check her eyes for leaks. A landlord of the conscious complex, you may say she thinks her anxiety looks terrible in a gown, and he can't bear to see people cry. He called it a waste of water to show so much skin. And where's the critics of irony, the skeptics of air? All pictures go undeveloped, all we need is an assortment of wire jacks while we sit and wait for the last big dial tone. There's never been anyone on the other end. And I can't stop trying not to try the rigor of man, the dedicated and determined descent to the ground, like being exalted to cry. And I can't help but to comment on the meta implications of each split end, reaching for the floor, leaning from her head. My foreign pen flashing camera bulbs captures prisoners of decorated science, chemistry with color. Sunday 636's fingerprints smeared over a sidewalk. Not me orders cigarettes over a counter. A cloud trades places with the star. Transactions/kisses, semantics in the endless letter alphabet of hope, in the language of mystique gone commodity. In a capitalist epoch, this spells control. Look at me and all my ambiguously dressed words bending over for you, showing tongue like writers, strippers, whatever. Keep your clothes on, I can see more of you this way anyway. I have so many ways to say nothing. I should open a Hallmark store. Or fuck it, a poetry workshop. Drag your tools, your heavy pencils, and your wardrobe of vocal cords. I tried on her moans and heavy breaths all night. A piece of my mind slowly gets undressed. My subconscious slides off its undergarments, and we trade dreams and phobias, basements and balconies. Where's all the music that's not been made going, and who's dancing to it? We played the air between us with our bodies, and time danced as space moved in 4 beats to a measurement of empty space. An accordion made of flesh bending its neck moaned something only the air in the room could sing along to. A giant moon is dissected and described over a surgery table with a big microscope in a class which taught how to look at it properly. And a sideline of poets all draw the same portrait, pointing out the subtle differences in text and shadowing. Some moments get all dressed up for their turn. The man shedding dead memories walks by, leaving a trail of bike parts, school books, and blood like a leaking garbage truck, all evening gowned out and singing like a sad choir coming down the streets, like water worth photographing, like waterfalls happen over the overpass by my house only every 4 to 6 minutes, average at 5 in the morning. Light spills through my window and I write about the sun and all the other obvious things.
I've swept rainstorms under alleys, in a drained woman's ponder compartments, confined and bouncing around endlessly, in its place, in time. Really my devices for distraction, proven effective like drapes and sewers, avenues for cities and determination, and the bereaved upright pipe organ poured all night. My giant umbrella pretends it can imagine the sun, and 2 cups painted to a page. Metal heaven fashioned me a floor to wear with confidence amongst the shaky public. Interaction rickets, a chamber of crickets without wings, grinding their gears together, songing new markets like remixing grass. Another cigarette off a new circumstance. The first song ever has nephews in this piece. Lace me see-through and provoking a breeze into wind hits. So many more windows woven lazy-eyed into the sides of buildings, like new hills, like beehives, like wormholes in my mock umbrella concocted from rain, progress, and protection. Drools all over itself in a hard corner from my bedroom door's lips. I may look like a train stuck and smoking. I shovel coal into a propensity for smothering silence in paint, like tonguing an opaque and cunning wall out to the open, to write a kiss across a song, blurring the room, the world under a rug, a pile of memories.
Table scraps. I drove the same road home again. This time it was fall, and everyone's looking for their hole, their empty staircase to call love. I'm scratching my name off the rainstorm I left in her house last night, before she wakes up to see me. Something singing along with the wind loses its voice on a window in another room. And I think of what 5 things one should bring into a bunker, and how the window sometimes makes me wonder what I'm doing. Some of my friends came to Paris, London, Portland, painting sunsets and colors of places I've never been before. If you want to write something poetic, hang yourself in the wall or sun. This day's now 6 months aged, pulling its gray clouds out, leaving clumps of fog all over the road. A shaved world shoved into a think hole, shivering and slowly being paved over in meaning. A librarian's skin case like a radio jar to catch someone's true calling, to store forever next to habits and fixed to a wall, biting its nails. My unshelved articulacy hung over slurring suns, a pile of moon clippings run over crippled conjecture trajectories like a conversation's intersect protections accidented and echoing out like a Xerox machine's exhale. Technology's carbon dioxide emissions. A scientific tree writes and speaks in highway typed all over. Some hit and run, mangled, thick-furred forest kill. Logic's streets also have roadkill. Our discussions crust and unpoured cement, drying, wasted and hardening over nothing, like a sculpture of space. The gap between thoughts, the subconscious, a canvas for formed judgments, a radio needle sowing ripening songs, stretched out throat lining, shouting angles and shapes. Me stitched to a reality suit, me metal stapled to another reality, gushing in hallways on sidewalks, a new room growing from my head to visit, think-jawed and reflective. A piano-fingered woman wearing long, thin rivers around her neck, fiddles with harmony levers with the ripples in a bucket of ocean. This is today's balance, remains, residue. Me in dreg shoes stomping all over someone's uneven belief ceiling, mathing myself up, starring in a galaxy, acting in a pulling and running reality puddle. The hunchbacked wind trying to stand upright in a small room of an air in the air, a disposition's trapdoor. Tomorrow my co-workers' mouth weather, my tape-recorded climate. This time it was spring, wearing itself muddled. Our choking and beautiful unfilled capacity. Our choking and beautiful unfilled capacity. Our choking and beautiful unfilled capacity. Rainstorms under alleys in a trained woman's ponder compartments, confined and bouncing around endlessly in its place in time. Really, my devices for distraction proven effective like drapes and sewers, avenues for cities and determination, and the bereaved upright pipe organ poured all night. My giant umbrella pretends it can imagine the sun, and two cups painted to a page. Metal heaven fashioned me a floor to wear with confidence amongst the shaky public. Interaction rickets, a chamber of crickets without wings, grinding their gears together, songing new markets like remixing grass. Another cigarette off a new circumstance. The first song ever has nephews in this piece's boot. Lace me see-through and provoking a breeze into wind hits. So many more windows woven lazy-eyed into the sides of buildings like new hills, like beehives, like wormholes in my mock umbrella concocted from rain, progress, and protection. Drools all over itself in a hard corner from my bedroom door's lips. I may look like a train stuck and smoking. I shovel coal into a propensity for smothering silence in paint, like tonguing an opaque and cunning wall out in the open to write a kiss across a song, blurring the room, the world under a rug, a pile of memories so